What is this? This is another episode of
This is another episode.
Confused
Live.
men.
Live from the Silver Spoon in West Hollywood. We are here today, and
Monday,
as
right?
always, it's Monday, November 7th, and
I always like Mondays. Don't you like Mondays?
Monday is the start of the week. It's a great day.
Fresh, clean.
When I go to the bank, they always say, have a nice weekend. I say, every day is a weekend to me.
Well, I guess it is
What
to
do
you.
you go to the bank for? You gotta have money in the bank. Actors don't have money in the bank, do they?
I do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
He lives off the interest.
Once I hit 62 years old, I knew I never have to work again in my
How
life.
many films did you do?
37.
37 movies. Well, you know, Harry, last night, Judy and myself, we sat down and watched one of Scorsese's early films, New York, New York. We had never seen it before. It's the one with Liza Minnelli and Robert De Niro. And you weren't in the credits in the front end, but very early in the film, in a big nightclub scene with a Tommy Dorsey orchestra, there was the unmistakable shape of Harry Northup getting up and talking to the character played by Robert De Niro. So,
Alabama. What I did, right after World War II, so I wore a hearing aid. And then the writer said, "Oh, you're wearing a hearing aid?" I said, "Yeah, I lost my hearing in the war." And it was a hearing aid from 1945. I went to a place in Santa Monica and I bought it. That was shot on stage 29. I met Vincent Minnelli at the rap party.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That got out of hand, that film, but I think it was based, there was a Doris Day film that in the late 40s, and I think it was kind of similar to. Listen, last time, if I may.
Hey, that's what I was going to say. The last show, we did a really bad thing. We spent so much time introducing one of the poems you were going to do that we never got to the poem.
Yeah, we didn't get around to the poem.
So I think we owe it to him that Harry should open this show with one of his poems.
Okay, a reading from Harry Northup.
I'm going to read a poem about my sister. My sister lived on a farm, her and her husband. She still lives there since 1947 in Ohio. So this is a poem for her. Porch where she stood. Jade Lake, Grasshopper, Black Bridge, White Pyramid, all family. White propeller sings, take me home. I am home. Hands embrace. Long white smoke reclines, curves, yellow tail feather, boxcars and boxcars of coal heading east, yellow fan, smoke and fire, escape the fear. Car seat with sunlines vertical and horizontal, thousands of thin windmills whitely visible faraway hills, reflectors ready for snow visibility. Golden roads flow beside each other, tumble into circular bales of straw, golden feathers, sister's heart, mercy and tenderness, golden leaves, square golden tin among greenery. Take me home, yellow flowers. I am home. Buttercups, yellow leaves, green and golden floors hold lostness. Journey into glass smashes face, does not break, cleanses, does not sever. Wind blows and cleans, green stems and horizontal holdings. Road golden like a furious train, leaf and white light explosion. Face, her merciful love. Out from blue-green earth, saved by wheat. Rushes whipping in winds. Prairie, viaduct, sod house gone. Wheat, the daffodils of my youth. Home, small, dilapidated, heartwarm. Trees diagonal in sky. Road disappeared alongside Highway 30, parallel to interstate. Point of rocks, hill like train engine. Long, memory met, fires like leaves in darkness. Runaway, sheer cut, schism, denied, golden leaves upside down from heaven, green arms, golden hand. And this is the engine. There's a hill shaped like a train engine. But my sister, she's got, like my mom, she has a good heart. So thank you for allowing me to read this poem.
Well, that's a real Midwest poem, isn't
Yeah,
it?
there are a lot of
gold in it. A lot of gold in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was gold. All I saw was gold. I kept seeing the Van Gogh gold.
Yeah.
I gave my doctor a Van Gogh tie. He flipped out today. Van Gogh was, well, we should ask the artist, David Glover.
Yes.
Van Gogh, that was a major thing with him. Is yellow.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. He picked that up when he was painting in Arles, France. And
Did he mix for that exact color, right?
Yeah.
Artists don't use the actual color they buy.
You blend it. Yeah, he created a sunshiny color which reflected what he saw in the south of France. I mean, remember, he came from the Netherlands, Holland, where it was generally gray and steely, and he goes down to the south of France in Provence, and he discovers a whole new light, a whole new way of seeing things. So that color of yellow is predominant in his paintings.
And the light,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, the light, the vibrancy.
The vibrancy and the warmth of the light in the air, rather than the steel grays of his old paintings, which you saw of the peasants in the field, digging potatoes and whatever, all the browns and grays. He changed his whole outlook on art.
Both of those fields are art and poetry really fascinate me because they mean different things to different people. So what's one guy's art is another guy's garbage,
Yeah.
What beautiful words, but those words can be interpreted 1,000 different ways, and neither one is something, an item you can sell immediately, which is America, capitalism to sell.
Yes.
Can't be sold, and yet some of it stays around forever and ever and ever. Just word of mouth. It amazes me. It amazes me that the people like you two have actually got to a point where you have succeeded in the field, where it pays your rent and your life. That's a phenomenal account. Who was it that told me how many poets make a living, really, commercial?
Most poets, they teach in the academic world, and they make money teaching, or they go on tour and do their readings. I remember years ago, John Ashbery, who's one of the most famous poets of our time, he won a big book prize, and the next year only made like $300. So there's more money, obviously, in art. The poetry world, I think, poetry amounts to about 1/2% in the bookstores. But to get back to the to paintings, when I first went to New York, and I was living on 25th Street, 10th Avenue, I had that Van Gogh.
rent district.
I had that.
Really found
I had
a
that.
plush place to live. Oh my God!
I had that Van Gogh print of Van Gogh's room.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that.
With the chair.
Yeah.
I
love
just
that.
gave my doctor a tie with that on.
Oh, a tie.
Yeah,
All
'cause
right.
he wears great ties. And I said, I'm going to find a
fabulous.
tie. And I remember when on one of the cruise ships, I found a Van Gogh tie. It's of the room,
Yeah.
single bed. I don't know why that room is so attractive to
And
me.
the bed.
It's a barren room. It's like a room for
The
like
colors.
a
Yeah.
lonely person, and yet there's something very warm about it.
Well, it's got the essentials.
It's the way he painted it.
Yeah.
It's like I was looking at the painting I bought from you, so you better make it really bigger than now.
Well, that's right.
I'm still holding out for more money for that painting. But he painted the scene with a bench, a golden bench. It's a golden bench.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful, tranquil scene. And thank God there's nobody sitting on the bench, so I always know I got a place to sit
Yeah.
mentally.
It's inviting you to stay.
You can sit mentally, You can sleep mentally too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Van Gogh's room. It invites you in. It becomes your room.
When you said you can sleep mentally,
Yes.
okay. When I go to sleep at night, I try to empty up my mind, because if I start
How do you
thinking
do
on
that?
something,
How do you do that?
I let it go. Because if I start thinking about something, then I keep dwelling on it. I get hyper. So I try just to, I say my prayers, and then I always, try to let the visuals and the words go, so I can just, fall asleep. Otherwise, I get too hyper.
That's what fascinates me more than anything else in the world. The one thing that always fascinates me is how I get to sleep. I don't think I can do that. How do you get to sleep? Everybody must develop a technique that puts them to sleep. You don't just go to sleep unless you're exhausted and you pass out. So that's a weird thing. I always sometimes say, I don't think I'm going to do it tonight. I don't know how to do it. There's some, one night you can't seem to get to sleep. Why not?
You changed your ritual. somehow.
Who knows? Yeah, but
Yeah.
the act of getting to sleep is a miraculous act.
Make love and
I
then go
just
to
thought-
sleep.
Of course, the act of waking up after you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say poets? Love.
Yeah, yeah, he goes right to the point.
Right to sex first.
Yeah.
And is a happily married man. There's not a promiscuous man. Very virtuous, very respectful toward his wife. But yet, when he acts in some of those roles, you know some of the roles he's played?
Oh yeah, he's a dangerous man.
He's a clean-cut kid from where? We're in the Midwest?
The Midwest. Now, here's what I want to ask you a question. May I just?
I always thought 79th Street was the Midwest.
Yeah, of the Bronx.
I find out Topeka,
I lived in some of those rooms up there on the Upper West Side. Here's
Oh,
the question.
I
I was in
like
New York
the
from
Upper West
'63
Side.
to '68, and I think you have told me that you were playing the Village Gate around that period. Was there a guy named DeLuga or something like Art DeLuga?
Art DeLuga.
Yeah.
He's now passed on, but Art DeLuga was originally my waiter at the Concord Hotel up in the Catskill Mountains, and many years later, I worked for him when he owned the Village Gate. He was a really artistic guy, and he had a lot of guts because for some reason or other, they wanted that land for something, for the city or something.
Where was the gate? Where was the Village Gate?
Village Gate was on
Bleecker Street?
Yeah, Bleecker Street, right near the place where Woody Allen used to work as a comic. What was that called? The Bitter End.
The Bitter End.
Bitter End, yeah, Bitter End. And I'll never forget. Someone says you got to come down and see this comic, and it was Cosby, and he was working at Cafe Wa when I was working at Cope. Just shows you.
What year were you working at the Copa?
That was 1961.
Because when I got married, 1967,
62.
my wife and I went to the Copa for our honeymoon night, and Peggy Lee was there. That was the only time I ever went to the Copa. But the
You know what
Village,
the cover charge was?
probably 250.
$2.50, right?
Wow,
I flipped
yeah.
out. I just think now I look back at Copa. That was a big place, Mike.
2-drink minimum too.
Yeah. Well, it was a funny place.
And how long did you do the Village Gate? And who are did you?
Village Gate, I did as a favor. Was really stupid because I finally, for the beginning of my career, I was not a joke teller, so they used to put me in jazz clubs, and I liked that because I worked with the Modern Jazz Quartet and Dinah Washington and all the famous jazz acts, but jazz clubs never paid you much money. And I said, I'm telling you, my act will go in the bigger rooms. And I finally convinced him, and they put me into the Copa, and I went over. And then he says, come on into the Village Gate. Now, how can I go into the Village Gate? I just played the Copa. He says, come on, you're my friend from the mountain. I'll give you a great billing. I said, come on. And I said, okay, I'll do a week. And you know what the great billing was? Zany new comic.
Oh,
That's...
You must have been what, 25?
Oh, let's see, 25, 19, no, I was older than that.
Yeah.
Jesus, I had to suffer. I had to go through a lot of those. That's one thing about the comedy. I can't remember the first time I worked. I can't remember the first audience I had.
Did you ever work with Zoot Sims?
Yeah, well, I worked with Zoot Sims only once at Carnegie Hall. That's a nice segue for the Billie Holiday Memorial Concert. And that was really a funny thing because the MC was Symphony Sid, who was a classic character and a jazz purist. And Cy Zentner was a very commercial band, almost like Lawrence Welk, and he was a big hit, and he was working on Broadway. And he himself took it upon himself to bring his whole band, pay all expenses, to open up to play one number because he wanted to play with all these great musicians. And Symphony Sid came out infuriated. Didn't even say good evening. What does Cy Zentner have to do with jazz? And he had a whole band that's standing there with their little red bow ties. And he got it off to a nasty start. But it was
That's all I listen to is jazz. We eat supper, I put on some jazz instrumental. I don't really listen to the lyrics, people singing so much. I like to just listen to jazz.
Yes.
I love piano. Bill Evans, I love him. I like Paul Desmond. Mm-hmm. You were talking about bands a while ago. You remember what Artie Shaw? Somebody asked Artie Shaw, when are the big bands coming back?
Yeah.
You know what he said?
What?
Football season.
Football season. That's right. Oh, the big bands were great. I worked at the Tropicana in the Blue Room where they had a big band policy. Every week they had a big band and a jazz singer and a comic. That was really fun. That was a lot of fun. And we used to do one show at 2 o'clock in the morning just so that the people who were working in Vegas could come over. After they finished their second show at 2 o'clock, I think they had one show at 8 and one show at 10, I think, in Vegas at that time.
What'd you enjoy best? Like you worked like in the Village or the Copa or you Vegas on the cruise ships? What's like one of the favorite places you worked at?
There were two reasons. Vegas is great to work because everything is so professional. The stage crew is on the ball, the sound is perfect. There are no ripples, everything is smooth. Everybody, plus they pay them well, and they're all very talented. But your audience is people that may have lost their $500,000 or divorced their wife and they're a little drunk or they're people that are distracted more by where they are than what's happening. And but the cruise ship audience, where I spent 25 years of my latter life in working on cruise ships, and they were great because they just wanted it to be the best cruise in the world. Even if you weren't up to their expectations, they went along with you. They were happy people. They finally got away from the house. They were celebrating this. So that's a great audience.
I saw that DVD you did, or at least one of the shows you did. It was like 43 minutes of relentless laughter. I was exhausted. Bam, bam, bam. You never gave up. Just one laugh after the other, and then you leave the stage.
I was canceled because they wanted 45 minutes.
But you just like totally exhausted. Just funniest DVD I ever saw in my life. Now, when you were on the cruise ship, how many shows did you do a week?
Well, I did one show a week because that's what I did. One show which they have two sittings because they have so many people. They're about 900 each sitting. So I did two shows, but the same show each time.
That's a good sized audience.
And I stayed with that line, and I love that line, the Holland America line. They're marvelous people. People have stayed with them for years and years and years. They have a tradition. The newer lines are more up to date, but they still maintain that elegance, nice elegance.
Bygone era.
Yeah.
Well,
why is it bygone? We've forgotten the finer things of life that make life worthwhile.
because they want instant gratification now, and that doesn't go with that.
I mean, I heard one
More
of these
organic
kids,
style
one of these
thing.
kids say, "How can we pay a rock singer $10 million and a teacher like $30,000 a year when we say we value kids and the education?" But that shows that she doesn't know the way of the world. You know,
That's it.
That book has to be based upon that. I don't know why it's gotten terrible lately.
So the way
How
it's
are we on time?
Well, we're wrapping up today, so
That's it. Gee, time travels so
time
fast.
flies when we're
It's a
reminiscing.
gorgeous day today.
Golden day.
It's a golden day.
Harry made it a golden day.
So we'll say goodbye to everybody out there
Bye,
in
everybody
YouTube
out
land.
there. If you're out
Thank you.
And
Thank
remember
you,
that-
David, and thank you, Don.
We are sitting outdoors today in Los Angeles, if you're watching this from back east.
there,
David
Silver
with his golden
Spoon,
voice.
which is soon to be faded from the scene, and nobody knows what's going to happen to this wonderful place where all the actors hang out and lie
ready.
to each other about how much money they're making.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned. We'll find out later. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.